What's up, guys? Welcome back to whatever. Welcome back. That's all I'm gonna say this time. I don't actually have a lot to say because I have some new. I have a new theory, and it's not a fun one, but it is what it is. We lost again. Actually, we didn't lose. We got embarrassed again. That's like four times in what is it? 3 weeks. Empoli, PSV, Atalanta. Fiorentina, I cannot recall a worse, month or so. Even though there were some wins in it, in general, this is like I watch Serie B football, and it's not even getting close to this. I'm not gonna lie, but yeah, with me so far, maybe somebody else will join in a minute. Norbert and Nino, who was on the channel with the call-in show on, I think Friday. How are you guys doing? Even though I think that's a stupid question, but yeah.
Yeah, uh, uh, it's insane. I was hoping for a lot better, and even I don't know. I just can't. It's like not real. I just can't believe this is happening right now. Like losing two games like this, 3-0, 4-0. I'm speechless. Like truly speechless. How the coach is managing the team, the players, the tactics, everything, and the management is absolutely garbage, and leadership up top. Again, Erkan was in Australia at the Formula One. Nothing else. I'm completely shocked, and yeah, I can't wait to talk about this horrible situation we have.
Yeah, I mean, I'd agree. I think you guys kind of summed up most of it. I'm just kind of speechless at this point. There's no excuse for any of this, especially when you've seen Juventus for the 100 years it's been a club. There's just no excuse for the lack of response that we're seeing at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I was expecting a loss, to be honest. Like I'm not gonna lie. It's not that I was not expecting this again. To be honest, like they played on Thursday. They played on Thursday. We had a week to prep after getting dunked on by Atalanta. I wasn't expecting us to come out and play football and be in sync and look all amazing. But I was like, if you're not gonna show any sort of basic pride and basic effort, then you might need to call it a day. That's when I did my match reaction. I'm like, he's getting sacked. Like, there's no way. And he's not the only one to blame right now. However, he's clearly not getting a reaction out of these players. Players who I actually hate. I'm not gonna like. I usually do not hate. I hate this group of. I literally hate. I hate these players. I don't love. Like, it's been a long, long time since I actually had a player, and I was like, if you leave, I'm gonna be devastated. And that's been ages. That's been over, I don't know, 8, 7 years. It's been that long. I actually hate this group of players because I don't even know where to begin. Do we want to talk? Let's talk about the game because there are a lot of angles to go with the situation. The game in itself, Norbert. Like I said it in the group chat, we didn't give up a loads of chances. They
Yeah.
took all of them, and they were not even like they were like out of the box. Two of them, like we didn't get ripped apart, and played like oh, they just handed us the ball, knowing we had absolutely no clue what to do with it. They took their opportunities, or whatever you want to call it. They got the space and they punished us. I will call it like that. And they called it a day. And we tried and we tried, and I have no idea what we were trying to do. I'm not gonna lie. From the starting 11, I was like, "You're trying to change something, but I can tell you it's gonna look miserable on that pitch. When you bench certain players, I mean, you cannot bench Cambiaso. I'm sorry. Like, if you start with that back line, you cannot bench Cambiaso. Not play Yildiz a single minute, and even bring on Vlahovic. Gonzalez on the left again. Like, at one point, I'm like,
Yeah.
these players should hate you. Like, they're right to hate you. But then again, you're rubbish on the pitch. Like individually, you're not good enough. So I'm not gonna give these players a free pass because if I saw some basic effort, then I can back you a little bit, not liking the manager. But when that's the effort you put in there, I cannot even back that. But Norbert, take it away. What you just thought about the game?
So we had the ball 69%. And when we didn't have the ball, basically we conceded a goal. That's how it went down. And with that 69%, again, we didn't do anything. Like not even no good chances, nothing. And yeah, I hate like 95% of these players. I would keep like 3 and let the rest go, to be honest. Yeah, not playing Yildiz and bringing in 3 defenders when we are down
Oh my
2-3
God,
goals.
I wanted to keep that for. No, you go. I have something to say on that.
Yeah, Yildiz, like, come on, our 10, our one of our best players, one of the brightest, one of the player with the brightest future it was on the bench 90 minutes. Okay, Vlahovic is not the best player, but he's a striker who worth some money, and we want to sell him and whatever. And everything was bad from the get go. The starting lineup, the subs, everything. It's a complete mess. And he should have been gone after the game, to be honest. Like the management needs to decide that they want to lose 20 million now or 25 million releasing Motta, or not making the Champions League, which is 60 plus million. So I think it's a big mistake, and no one has the balls. No, the players they don't have the balls what it takes to play for Juventus. Most of them. And Motta clearly doesn't have any balls. And Giuntoli, I think he's going towards being a failure. I'm not saying that yet. I'm still waiting what happens during the summer. But so far, I was so happy when Motta and Giuntoli came. Giuntoli first and then Motta later, obviously. But this is really bad. And after the 4-0, we showed nothing, no reaction whatsoever. That's the worst part, I think, because so far this season we had our ups and downs, and now I was like, okay, it was a little like crazy down moment against Atalanta, and now it's going to be one of those high ones, and nothing at all. So yeah, it's just, I don't think I can say anything else. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is true rock bottom. The reason I say that is because you look at the Atalanta game where everybody came in thinking that we had a chance because of the previous streak. We'll say most of us, because I don't know about everybody. I thought we were going to put up at least a fight. But when you get handed 4-0 at home with Atalanta, and then you go to Firenze, and then you have this tactical disaster, we'll call it, because even if we saw Yildiz, he would probably be in the wrong position. He wouldn't be where he plays. So him, and then you can see him not. It's a mixture, him not playing the right players, and then when the camera pans to the bench and you see Nico Gonzalez like this next to Vlahovic, you could tell that whatever's going on in the locker room, it's not conducive to there's no world to where when you have a divide like that, your team is going to succeed. And I think that stems from the frustration of watching Copa Miners play week in and week out, no matter how bad he is, and Nico Gonzalez playing week in and week out, no matter how bad he is. Like I think that the real problem, obviously, is Motta. Obviously, it's Giuntoli, but honestly, I'm starting to call into question if Elkin really even cares about the club anymore, because he's sitting somewhere. He's seeing this. There's no way he's not seeing this. It's being brought to his attention. But we're just kind of we're stagnant. There's no change. They say you gotta see change, but there's no change. We're not seeing any change.
No, there is no. Let's go for, well, let's take this angle first, the players angle, because the talk is obviously, I think we know that there is an issue in the locker room, and we don't know what it is to a real extent. However, the players, we can all kind of guess. But I was thinking about it today, and I was like, the names like Gatti and Vlahovic and Cambiasso, and I'm like, Gatti's playing week in, week out. So that's the interesting one. I'm like, what actually happened there, if there's something? With Vlahovic, he was getting sold. It's as simple as that. I don't think, like me, I still like Vlahovic, but I made my peace with it that it's not going to work out with us. So he needs to leave. So even if there's an issue, I'm like, these are players who do not want to be here to a certain extent. So then today, actually, it got confirmed more so that the players have an issue. The players do not understand what Motta's asking. And I was watching Sky post game yesterday, and actually everybody said the same thing. Montolivo, Ambrosini, they all said the same thing. They said, and they played, so I'm gonna take their word for it. They say the players clearly cannot execute what he's asking for. And at one point, as a coach, and that's what I've always been saying the last, I don't know, 2 months or so, if you want to play a certain way, but you don't have the tools to do that, you need to be smart enough. You need to figure it out to play a brand of football that's sustainable with the players you have, because you made certain decisions with Giuntoli in the summer to spend that money in, I don't know, Douglas Luiz rather than a defender. I don't know what it is. So that cannot be used as an excuse, in my opinion, when it's March. Like, it's almost April. Like, after international week, it's April, That cannot be used as an excuse. Now, is it fair for the players? Because it feels like everybody just gave up right now. They're done with it, Is it fair for the players to say, we do not understand what you want us to do, and then put in these type of performance? Because I was thinking about it, like, even if you do not understand, you cannot be this bad. I don't know what, like, I don't think he's asking you to solve, I don't know, to solve some equation or solve, I don't know, starvation around like, he's not asking something crazy. You're still professional footballers. You cannot look this bad. So that's why I put in the poll, Norbert. Even if that's the case, that Motta's asking things that are too complicated, how much leeway should these players get, to get away with it? And put in this, whatever this is right now.
So the Bologna players are smarter than
That's what I was thinking.
Players.
That's what I was
Like,
thinking.
they understood. Okay, the first year at Bologna, he was okay, nothing special. The second year, the team was really good. But we are at what, 8 months already since he's here. Like, come on. I think it's really weak. Obviously, the players, they don't want to play for him or for whatever reason. And it's just, I'm sorry. I don't believe that they don't understand what he's asking for them to do. It's just, I don't know. They don't. Sometimes it happens. You don't want to play for the coach. Nothing motivates you because you just don't want this coach around. And it's just crazy to me that this happened, because he's like a younger coach, and I thought, like, he still has that ex-player vibe or whatever, and he won the Champions League and whatnot. But apparently, no. So yeah, personally. I don't, and this team doesn't have an ego. Come on, like, they are young dudes. It's not like a superstar team. Like, whoever doesn't have an ego is not even playing. Like, I would say Vlahovic has an ego, but he doesn't even play. So, yeah, whatever. It's a mess, and it's as much as on the players as on the coach. No one is innocent here, obviously. Like, I don't think he's asking anything crazy, to be honest. It just doesn't work, and he has to go, because we can't release all the players, and this is the only way to try to do something, is to let the coach go. and I don't think we can do anything, and nothing will change. We're just gonna lose the fourth spot. We're already behind I think 1 point behind Bologna. So chaos.
Yeah, I agree. And when you look at I kind of saw this a little bit when Allegri, towards the end of Allegri's kind of run, you can see when some of the players, not that they had a disconnect with Allegri, but they don't want to play the style of football that he plays, and you can tell that they don't try. That they're just kind of stagnant. And I feel like for some of the players, it's quality, and for some of the players, it's emotions and mentality. Like if you look at Lloyd Kelly, it's obviously quality. There's no quality there. But if you look at somebody like, I'm hesitant to even say it, but Cope Miners, he has the quality. You saw that last season. But I think mentally he's really struggling. And for me, when you see Cope Miners touch the ball and the ball goes 5 feet the other way, he can't trap the ball. I think he's got to come off the field. There's no reason for that. So I think it's a mixture of a lot of things, but there's no reason for players of this caliber making this much money to be playing that bad. And that's kind of my point of view, is like, you're being paid, you have the best facilities. I mean, who knows what's going on at J Medical right now, given all the injuries, but you have the best everything. It's got to boil down to the coach, because most of the players on the team technically can play.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I thought like you said, like a lot of these players perform elsewhere, you know, so it cannot be used as an excuse at all. I'm gonna read out a few comments. Also, subscribe to Nino's channel. He also does Juve videos. I'm putting it in the chat. He will be on more often, but subscribe to his channel and help him grow.
Thank you.
Okay? Let me read out a few comments because okay. Somebody's saying, wake up, Motta isn't the only problem. The management is a mess. The president never speaking, Juntally making mistakes, selling Juventus. If you don't realize, it will be long years. I think we all agree with that, to be honest. It's not, you know, it's not just one person right now. It's simple. We've come to a point where the team doesn't want to play for Motta. There's no way forward other than changing now ASAP. Well, I thought that yesterday post game. I like it. It's over. Like I watched a team who actually tried to sack their coach. That's it. But I don't like that because it happened with Sarri. It didn't really happen with Pirlo, but it also happened with Allegri. But it was 3 years in, you know, and players didn't like it and so on. But it was 3 years. It happened again. I'm like, who are these players? Like most of them, it's their first season at the club. Who are you? Like, who the hell are you? That's what I like. When that news comes out, I'm like, cool, but who the hell are you? Like, literally, who are you? You've never played for this club in a very long time. Maybe some, you know, but still, like, you've not won anything. You didn't like you're going down in the history books, and that's it. Footnote. So I'm not sure what, like, when these things come out, I'm frustrating with that. Also because in those moments, I believe manager should make themselves here and step in and make a clear statement and say, it's the coach. You guys are going to work it out or you're not going to be here. But I don't feel that's the communication. And I think the players feel that. Otherwise, it won't come to this extent, in my opinion. That's just and that's come to my next theory in a second if I go through the chat. Players are most to blame. I'm tired. Hopefully it gets better. Maybe. Not anytime soon. 4 shots on target. 0 goals and 7 conceded in 2 games. No other top team would accept keeping the coach after such a season and last few games. A lot of people saying get Motta out. Koopman was actually good in the 10 before he got that rib injury in that Leipzig game. I mean, that's ages ago. I cannot even recall that, to be honest. I cannot recall those good games. I'm still Juntally out first. Motta has been dealt a bad hand, no question about it. He hasn't done much with it, but it's still a bad hand. Okay, let's move on because I have a theory, and there's still a lot of things to talk about. However, post game, and maybe it slipped my mind a little bit because it was 5 minutes or 10 minutes before kickoff. Motta spoke, in a quick walk-in interview, and he said, "I'm pleased with this week because the ownership backed me." And then the Tutto Sport, article was also out a couple of hours before saying that Alcon called, text Motta, but it slipped my mind. I was like, I didn't think much of it, to be honest, until it came to the post game, and Giuntoli actually showed up. He showed up post game, and actually after he showed up, Motta shouldn't talk. Di Gregorio, they all should not talk. It should have been Giuntoli, and that's it. But for some reason, it was the other way around again. Like, everything is backwards with this club at this moment in time. And he spoke about it, and he said, "We believe we can turn this around." And then somebody said, "With Motta?" And he's like, "Yeah, even with Motta." And then I went back to the pre-match interview. I'm like, wait a minute. He said ownership backed me. He didn't say management backed me. I don't think that's by mistake, because right now I'm convinced. I'm actually 100% convinced that Alcon, who, by the way, I do not trust at all. However,
Yep.
I think he's sitting there and he's like, if Motta's gone, you guys or you are gone as well. Not this summer, maybe, because it's impossible to sack your sporting director, get a new one, and get through the summer. But I believe he's sitting there and he's like, you're not the guy as well. Like, if you spend so much money, you turn it over completely, got a new coach, start a new project, and then after 8 months, you're telling me you want to do it again? I think he's sitting there, he's like, no. Because that's just my 2 cents. The way Giuntoli speaks as well, like the vibe Giuntoli gives me is like, I need to keep him in a job right now, but actually I do not want to keep him. That's how it comes across. The way he speaks, the quotes he says, the things he said is like, it's the first time we lost 2 games in a row. I'm like, it's not just 2 games. It's 7-0. Like, it's not 1-0 and 2-1. Like, you got absolutely smoked. Forget about Empoli and PSV. And then he says, yeah, but the tactical issues, that's a Motta. That he needs to figure out. He's basically saying, you're staying, but you're not staying. Figure it out, whatever, but you kind of gone. I believe the mess is even bigger than we could imagine behind the scenes, in my opinion, between players. And I think players feel that. And they know that. They're not idiots. Yep. They know they can kind of do whatever they want, and nobody's going to tell them off, because who the hell is in charge right now? That's my theory right now. Obviously, Motta's going to get sacked at the end of the season. I think that's very clear right now. There's no way he's going to keep his job. It's done, but it's a complete failure in my opinion. But people, smash the like button really quickly. And Norbert, what do you think? Do you think that Giuntoli feels safe, or do you think he's safe? Period.
I think he's safe. My problem is that, how do you say it? In Hungarian, we have a saying that the fish is stinky because of the head. I don't know how to.
I get it.
If they're saying in English like that, but like it starts with the ownership, with the president and all those guys up there, and it trickles down all the way to the players, this issue. And I think the first thing we need to do is new president, and Erkan, I'm sorry, something needs to happen with him as well, and potentially Giuntoli as well. But I feel like I don't know, he made some mistakes, obviously. Like, I'm not saying I'm not a fan of Giuntoli. I don't care about Giuntoli per se, but it's too early for me to get rid of Giuntoli. If he can bring in a new coach or whatever, then
do you
okay.
trust him
But
to bring in a new coach?
Yeah, I trust him for now until summer. We said we give him 2 summers, 2 full summers.
I said it, but I meant build a squad. I didn't envision sacking your project coach.
Yeah, but he just didn't expect this, that Motta will not work.
Okay, really quickly. I like, nobody expected it be, and actually we lost 3 games in Serie A still. I mean, it feels like we lost 7-8 at this rate. But
Yeah.
you said he didn't expect that. Nobody expected that. However, isn't that the time you're like, but I still believe in what we started. I'm going to really back you instead of saying, screw this, I'm going to start over yet again. Doesn't it make it a bit worse, Nino? Doesn't it make it a bit worse for his own, job security? Or shouldn't it make it worse for his job security?
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of leaning more towards I'm not really a fan of him there anymore, just because of the way I mentioned this the other day with the way he handled the transfers, the winter mercato, all of that. Like, there's probably two signings that he made that were 100% worth it, and it was Kalulu, because Kalulu's been one of our strongest defenders this season, and I'm not saying he's the best defender we have or he should start for a club like Juventus, but for 15 million, I think he's worth the money that we spent on him. And then Thuram. Other than that, it's been a financial. Even though he's balanced the books financially, he spent 130 million dollars on players like Colt Miners, like Douglas Luiz and Nico Gonzalez, three who continue to start and continue to do terrible. So for me, and then Lloyd Kelly in the winter market. So that's $145 million on players that are just nobody could predict that they're bad, but they're bad. I don't think there's any other way to put it. And maybe that's because of Motta, maybe that's because of the way he plays, but I'm losing faith in the way that he's handling the Mercato based on just two, because
Yeah.
he waited until the last day of the Mercato to get Lloyd Kelly, who we sold, who we sold Hijuzen to replace. He replaced Lloyd Kelly at Bournemouth, and it's we're doing things backwards. The philosophy going into this project was to build with the youth, and we sold all of the youth. So I think Elkin kind of handed him the keys and said, "Listen, I don't want to have to deal with this anymore. Go figure out what to do." That's what I think is happening, and I don't think it's gonna get better.
So
That's my opinion.
I can't really blame Juntoli, because like Douglas Luiz, he had like I don't know, at least two solid years at Aston Villa, and he was never injured, and he missed 16 games, or I don't know, maybe it's 17 now or 18 this year with us. Before that, he didn't miss a game, never. Like and Cope Miners, come on, top 3 midfielder the past 3 years in the Serie A. Okay, Kelly is Kelly. That's a big big red dot or black dot next to Juntoli's name. But Nico Gonzalez as well. Like he had last year, he had 17 goal contributions. That's also pretty solid. And but now my question regarding this is okay. So Motta wanted these players, or what's happening there? Because if you want players and you can't work with them, Giuntoli did what the coach wanted, and he's just failing to use the players the right way.
I'm not so sure at this moment in time who wanted what.
Yeah.
To be honest,
Yeah.
it's very confusing because like he's playing certain players. Like he like I don't know if you saw the quote on Gonzalez. I lost it when I read it. When I heard it, I was like, "What are you saying?" He said, "Oh, but I needed something on the left, beat his man, and he played there." He played there, but he played rubbish. That's going back to Bernardeschi. He plays every position. No, he just is in every position. He doesn't play every position. It's like McKennie can play every position. No, he cannot. You put him in every position, but that doesn't mean he can play every position.
Yeah.
Like he does certain things where I'm like, what? Like yesterday, I watch every single minute, every single game because I do this, and actually, I'm an idiot. I cannot miss a game like that. That's on me. Like I'm the idiot, I guess. But when he made 3 subs, and the first 3 subs were defenders, and maybe the third one was because of an injury, I was sitting there. I was like, what are we doing over here? It's 3-0. It's three. Like what? I don't. I was looking at it. I'm like, do you expect Alberto Costa and like you bring them on fine, but you bring on Yildiz and Conceição. Like you have no other choice at that moment in time. You have no other choice. But he's stubborn. When he's like, and that I it's
Yeah.
really frustrating to watch. Like you're stubborn for no good reason. I don't know. You're helping nobody. Definitely not yourself. Obviously not the team, and also not the play. Like individuals as well. When I look at a McKennie, and people know what I think about McKennie, I think he's a good squad player. He can be a good squad player, but there's a limit to it. Like there's a limit to it. If you play him in the 10, do not play him for his own sake. When you keep shoehorning Gonzalez on the left hand side and he's actually struggling against Primavera Empoli players, come on. Like, absolutely come on. And again, that's not solely on you because you're playing awful players and you can still not shine. That's also on you, left or right. But in general,
Yeah.
he's not having an impact. You know, all these things. When he said post game, when he was asked about Vlahovic and Yildiz, he was like, yeah, but they played against Atalanta. I'm like, man, you're not talking about a Primavera player you just brought with the squad and you're like, oh, but he got like you're talking about main players basically not getting a sniff when you're 3-0 down. Now, if you make that decision, the game is over, fine. But you didn't make that decision, to be honest, in my opinion. And you still do not bring these players on. Like when he
Yeah.
did those things and he said those things, that's why I came out in my match reaction. I'm like, it's done. There's absolutely no chance that the club can sit there and be like, we believe in you. It's impossible. Right now, I don't think he believes in himself. He said post game, I'm the one who can lift this team up again. I'm sorry. I like you. And I still like, you know what it is? I don't think it's gonna work out with us because of the situation with the players and Juntili. It's just not gonna work out. That doesn't change my belief that I think he's a good coach. Like a coach.
Yeah.
However, he is stubborn with the players he
Yeah.
has. He wants to do it his way. It's not working. You need to change. He's not changing it, and it's not going to work out. It's as simple as that. And somebody said it's a top club. Yes, we have much more egos than at Bologna. It's what it is. However, at one point you're going to need to deal with those egos if you want to be a top coach. Like you're going to need to find a way. You can step on the foot of one player, but if it's multiple players, we have an issue. Now, a few months ago when Danilo left and the players were angry, I'm like, grow the F up. I mean, I'm sorry. Like, come on. He wasn't playing. When he played, he was rubbish. Like, you're not babies. Like, this is professional football. A player is gone, he's gone. Fine. But I understand when players are sitting there and be like, I cannot play this position. You're not helping. You're asking me to do things I cannot deliver. And it's making me look bad as well. I can understand players growing frustration over those decisions.
Yeah.
But that's
Yeah,
on him.
The stubbornness, which I hate in coaches. In Allegri as well, I hated it, and with Motta as well. Like, and what he said about Nico Gonzalez, that he can play on the left, and he played a ton on the left. No, he didn't. Like, he played 7-8 games last year there, and this year every single game he played on the left, he was garbage. When he played on the right, he wasn't good. He was okay on the right, but like. The stubbornness and this not changing anything and not playing the best players at their best position is insane to me, when probably the only thing that can save him is playing the players in their position, and maybe then they can play on an acceptable level and beat out teams with that. But yeah, it's not working.
Yeah. His stubbornness is what's making him get kicked out. I think that's what it's boiling down to, because when you're losing games, seven goals in the last 2 games is outrageous for a team that's they said best defense in the league.
Oh yeah,
until
that's
2
gone.
games ago.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, things are just collapsing, and it's if it was changing, I would not have a problem with him staying if he was adapting and we were seeing some sort of change and making it better, but we're not seeing any change. We're not seeing anything get better, and it's only getting worse. So there's he's just being stubborn, and when you have a coach who is not able to adapt and mend to what hand he's dealt, it's not going to work out, because you could say Bremer was injured in the beginning of the season, okay, and then I think somebody made a comment, it would have been a different season if Bremer was here. But if you can't rely on that, people get injured more now than ever because there's 3 games a week. So if you're gonna sit here and say the season was chalked up because of 1 injury or 2 injuries or however many injuries we had, that can't be the case, because you have 200 million at your disposal. You have a bunch of young players, and there's no excuse for the repetitiveness that we're seeing. The repetitive, like, poor Juventus that we're seeing.
Does really quickly, and people in the chat also let me know, because people know my you know my opinion on it, and I said it 2 weeks ago, I think. Do we get top 4? Looking at, I don't know if anyone looked at the schedules. Who we play? Bologna have an insane schedule, by the way. Who we play, but I think I don't know how many points Fiorentina. Like, I think Lazio's 1 point behind us, Roma 3, and I have no idea Milan and Fiorentina 5, 4, 5, 6. I don't know what it is. But does anyone believe we will get top 4?
Personally, I don't think with Motta it's possible. With Motta, we can't. There is no way, no how. With Motta, no.
Yeah, at the rate that this is going, I'd find it hard pressed to believe that we would.
We're
Unless
still
you
playing
change
what? Roma. We
Yeah.
play Bologna as well.
Bologna. Yep.
Lazio as well.
I mean,
no.
Bologna have a hard, like the other teams have also hard schedules. They play Inter, they play, like
We don't need a hard schedule to battle it.
that was my thing. That was the point I was trying to make.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
we look like the goals we conceded yesterday. I mean, if you play against a better side, because with all due respect, Fiorentina are not a good side. Like what Palladino's doing, Palladino's doing is crazy, because that Fiorentina side, I'm sorry, it's not good. It really is not good. But like that backline is awful. Like, it's actually like I was watching it and I was almost crying. I was like, how are we creating nothing against that backline? Like, players were getting dominated by Dodo. Like, with all due respect, that is insane. That is insane. I was watching. I'm like, they were not even like, they were just handing us the ball, and they're like, fine, do it, whatever you're trying to do it. Like, we're gonna go to Roma. I think we play Genoa and then we play Roma. We're gonna lose to Roma. They have 29 points in the last, I don't know how many games.
Yeah.
And yes, Dybala's out for probably quite a while, but still, like, they have a vibe around them. Even though I don't think they're a good squad, they're just a vibe. They believe in what they're doing, and they're just getting wins no matter what. They're finding a way. We're not even close to finding a way. That is the scary part for me.
By the way,
personally.
Roma has the best form in the past 15 games. Like, in 15 games, they won 11 games, draw 3, and lost only 1. 36 points in 15 games. That's insane.
Yeah. And you look at who they brought in mid-season. Why can't Juventus? For the people saying don't switch the coach mid-season, you look at what Roma did. They brought Ranieri in, who's a well-established coach. Look at the change that it made. The whole locker room changes when you bring in somebody that, like, when they speak, everybody listens. I feel like that's not the case with Motta. Motta is like, he doesn't show any emotion. He doesn't show any grit on the field, because when the coach shows that on the field, it translates to the players. And when you look at the difference between Ranieri and the previous coach, Roma's on a tear.
They are.
So, I mean,
and Alex, I didn't say Roma are garbage. I didn't say that. I said they don't have a good squad. They're on a good run, but they don't have a good squad. They're on an insane run, but that squad is not good.
That's what a good coach does.
Yeah, like, it's not a good squad. Fiorentina, same. The Bologna squad is not good. Like, nobody's gonna pick out Bologna players this season. Like, let's be completely honest. Maybe Castro, maybe like, but nobody's gonna sit there around Europe and pick out Bologna players. But that's fair to say, and still say they're doing an insane job. That is the worrying part, in my opinion. That teams with, you can go the Milan route with Conceição. They won against Como. They shouldn't have won that game, but they won that game,
Yeah.
and fair play. But
I watched it.
they're gonna lose a bunch of games because they're not good. They're just not good. Nor are we. Fiorentina are gonna lose a bunch of games because they don't have a good squad. They will rock up next week away to, I don't know, over in 2 weeks from now they will rock up away to Genoa and lose. Like, they don't have a good squad. That's what they're doing is great, and that's actually fantastic. So fair play to them. We are underachieving right now. That's just the reality of it. We are heavily underachieving, in my opinion. So I don't think we're gonna get top 4. I said that after Atalanta. I'm like, you had PSV as a warning, that didn't help. You had Empoli as a warning, that didn't really help. You had Atalanta, that didn't help. I'm like, yeah, it's done. Like, I don't know how many warnings you need before we can see a reaction. If you need another one, then it tells me you're not waiting on the warning. You're not sitting there anymore, because even the players gave up saying we're gonna learn from this, because they know we're not learning shit. Like, it's just not gonna happen. Okay. Okay. Let's move on, because that's done. Straightforward question: was anyone surprised that Motta didn't get sacked today or yesterday?
Yep, 100%.
I am, to be honest. Yeah.
Because I was actually surprised Juntali showed up, because it took way, like, usually an interview, like, I have the TV on, and usually Motta shows up in about 10 minutes or so post game, and it wasn't happening. I was like, they're just gonna go silent, which I was like, fine, I guess. I don't know. And then Juntali walked up, and I'm like, didn't expect that. Didn't expect Motta to speak afterwards. I thought that was a mistake anyway. But Juntali spoke, and he backed him. I guess, said that he believes in the project and so on, and this, whatever they're trying to do, I guess. Then it goes to the studio, and I see Del Piero speaking, and halfway through I'm like, I think he's gonna cry. I think he's actually gonna cry. He, by the way, made it very clear yesterday when he spoke that he's not coming back to the club anytime soon. With the things he said, it's not gonna happen. And I think he knew that, and I appreciate that he just spoke up, and called it how it is. It's not the coach, and I like that, because he knows what it like. He had it in the past as well. He got benched, by Capello and stuff. Like, he went through all of this, whatever you want to call it. And he said, today it's not just the coach, it's the players, it's ownership, it's management, it's everybody. He said you can lose, but you cannot lose like this, And still, like, when he was speaking, I was envisioning the picture of Ferrero sleeping last week in the stands. I'm like, how are certain men at the club and certain other men in a football studio talking sense? If you needed a big picture of what's wrong with the club, it was just the game and the post game. I was listening to it, and I was like, man, I think we feel pain, but for him it must be even worse. Like, it actually must be worse, because he is eager to come back. Like, it couldn't be more obvious was him. I don't know, actually saying it. I want back. It cannot be more obvious, but it's also very obvious that the club wants to do it his own way, or their own way. However, they do not have control of it, because everybody in the studio. And I watched every single show today because I had time, or listened to it. And they all said the same thing, that right now at the club, nobody has real control. Everybody has their own agenda. And everybody is just trying to save their own thing. The only one they said, and they all agreed on, who's not trying to do that, save his own thing, is Motta. However, he's failing at it, like massively right now. So, my question is, Norbert, if let's say we go back next Sunday. So this Sunday, the following Sunday, we play Genoa, I think. Um, we don't win that game. Then what? Because you wasted kind of 2 weeks. Can you
Yeah.
do you need to write it out now? Did Juntli make the decision? It's gonna be Motta no matter what happens from now on, because it's 8-9 games.
I think it's a mistake that Motta is still the coach. We had the perfect 2 weeks to bring in a coach now. I don't know. Like at certain points, at certain point, like he needs to say like goodbye, Motta, because like we can't. We are Juventus, and come on, like we can't play like this week in week out. We cannot. We need Champions League, as especially now when Giuntoli himself made if we actually make Champions League, we make it so we can sign players again. We can spend even more because the financial situation is really stable now. We selling Huijsen and all the youngsters we didn't want him to sell actually made it possible. But sorry, like okay, if we lose, Motta needs to go, but I don't know what's the solution, because no one wants to come for 8 games or 7 games.
That's my point.
Who anyone who has who self-respect, like I don't want the under 20 coach Magnanelli. I love Brambilla just because I watched the next gen, and I really respect that dude, especially seeing what he's doing with that horrible squad and what Montero did with the same squad. But Brambilla is not a Serie A coach, not a Juventus quality coach, so I don't know. I don't know him that well, so I don't know if he can motivate the team or no. I just don't know. It's just so grim, the whole situation. Like who can come in? I don't even know. The names that came out, I want to puke. Like honestly, Prandelli, and Mancini. Like come on, like
Pioli.
Oh my god.
I'd probably start crying on the spot, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Conte is not realistic, obviously. Even at the end of the season, it's not realistic. I don't think. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't. What do you do, Nino? Maybe you know. What do you do?
No, I mean, if I thought Motta was gone after Fiorentina, but you're right. There's a really no solution. I think, in my opinion, if Motta was to go, the best option is going to be Mancini. If you're thinking of experience, if you're thinking of tactics, if you're thinking of everything like that, he's probably the most solid option that is a free agent or he's available. But do you want him long term is the question. Because I doubt, like you said, he's going to come for 8 games. Yeah. So it's a tough situation. It's really tough. But honestly, anything would probably be better than Motta risking top 4.
You know what? I think for if the management and the ownership and ex-players do enough begging, Tudor can be an option. I know he doesn't want to be a caretaker or anything like that, but I think with enough begging, and we have history with him, I think he's a possible option, and I want him because he's Croat. He's a Croatian. He's he's from the Balkan, and I respect that. Being a Hungarian, so I think he has enough balls to shake up this young team,
Yeah.
possibly. But it's like a long shot because, as I said, he doesn't want to do this. He wants at least a
Yeah.
year contract. So I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it would be interesting at the end of the season if we were to guarantee top 4 at the end of the season, it would be a completely different conversation of who should be the
Yeah.
coach. But with the situation we're at now, we're kind of very very limited because I mean Gasperini was an option at the end of the season. You have Conte option at the end of the season. You have a bunch of other coaches that open up after their contracts expire. But I mean, it's just nobody's free until the end of the season. No solid option is free.
I think he's
Maybe,
even if he loses against Genoa, he's staying.
Yeah, sadly.
If you
Maybe,
didn't, no, you go.
I was gonna say maybe if we get Gasperini at the end of the season, he'll be able to make the 60 million for Cup Miners worth it.
Oh, he hates Cup Miners.
Yeah,
Probably
they
need to
hate
sell
each
him.
other.
Probably need to sell him.
He'll probably sell him again.
If you don't use this 2-week break, you're not going to use random post Genoa to sack him. You know.
Yeah, but it's a Genoa. It's not the.
Yeah, and it was Empoli's Primavera. Like the timing is
Yeah.
off. It's like 7 games. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, if you don't use this 2-week break, I don't know how many players left for international duty.
No
11?
idea.
I don't know. Like maybe 11. So if it wasn't right now, then I think the club made it very clear. It's gonna be it's gonna be it's gonna be the summer, and maybe they're like in their heads like, yeah, we're gonna use the Club World Cup to recoup some of the money. I don't know. I like what Menu did. They just plan for the next 5 years, going off the basis of we're getting Europa League and no Champions League. I think we should be doing that as well. It's sad, but
Yeah.
adding that to the fact that adding the Champions League money to your budget, like I get the idea, you need to do that plan, but it's not realistic for us right now in the situation we're in. It's sad, but it's not a given. We need to really think about that, but that's the club anyway. So people talking about Gasperini and the best time for Motta to fire Motta is now. You have 2 weeks break. Yeah, that's why I don't think it's gonna happen later on. I agree that this is the best time to fire Motta, but losing away to Fiorentina isn't like losing at home to Genoa, for example. I agree, but the way we're losing against Fiorentina at home will be the same as losing to Genoa at home, in my opinion. Because you can lose against Genoa. It happens. You can lose against one of these teams throughout the season, but it's not going to happen now. And thanks, Larry. Welcome back to the channel. This is the worst state of the club since post-Serie B. I won't pretend to know how to fix it, but I believe it starts with management and players that love the club as much as we do. If you have a weak management, you have a weak. Like if you work for a boss and he's weak, he doesn't do his numbers, he doesn't really care about clients, he doesn't put any effort in. You can put in all the effort you want, you're gonna fail. You're just gonna fail because people are not gonna buy the product. You're gonna fail. How hard you try, if at the top they don't do their job, you're gonna fail. It's as simple as that. Otherwise, there wouldn't be real relegation sides, in my opinion. Like, just get a good manager and they will figure it out. No, if like Di Francesco is working miracles. That Venezia side is one of the worst sides since Carpi in the league, and they were really bad. They have absolutely no quality in that Venezia side, but somehow, some way, he's making it tough for teams to beat them. So. Those players didn't want to play for Motta or Allegri, and before them, sadly, it's management problem when they didn't stop the first guy before this becoming a bad habit in the team. Yeah, different players, but the same output or the same, thing. So you're saying if we lose to Genoa, Motta will stay? He will stay. He will stay. You can't lose now to Genoa. Context matters. I don't think context matter because otherwise, the context yesterday would have mattered, in my opinion. That's how. And you had 2 weeks of a break. That's why I don't think context matter. I think they just made a decision. We don't find a mid-season manager or like for 8 games and it's done. It's going to be you. We're backing you in front of the media. Make it work. That's my belief. Um, because if they sack and post Genoa, they're idiots. By the way, like you had 2 weeks, you really needed one more game. Like that's actually crazy. That's
Yeah.
crazy. Who do you guys the players are against Motta? You can make the list. Gatti, Cambiasso, Vlahovic, but whatever.
Yeah, that's a good question.
How many players do we need to sack if the players blame them? How many managers do we? Oh, it's gonna be a never-ending story. It is what it is.
It's like Man United.
Yeah, and I don't want to become a Man United, but we're on track. We're on track. Um,
Yeah.
what do you thought? What do you think? What are your thoughts on Cambiasso's
Oh my God.
miraculous recovery? Because I thought, oh my God, he's gone for months, and
Yeah.
he's with the national team.
Two people was helping him walk and all that.
Yeah, I was like, oh man, like that as well. Like, couldn't get any worse than this. And he's like, yeah, thanks. Off to
He's
the
sold.
Azzurri. I'm like, wait, what? Like, really?
I don't.
Or
But why? Why would you do this as a
I-
professional?
I don't know.
Like,
Maybe he felt something. Maybe he really
You
felt
wanna-
something. But he was getting carried. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Something's off. In my
yeah,
opinion.
super weird, super crazy. I don't know what can you. He even how he went to the J medical visit. He was limping, as far as I remember. So yeah, he's not injured and he's at the national team. I really don't get it.
Yeah, he's not
Like,
injured. Somebody's asking. He's not injured. Like,
yeah, he's not. He's at the national team.
he's with the national. And also, I opened the newspaper this morning. It's like, oh my God, Cali could be out for months, and the news is like he's fine. I'm like, what the hell is going on? I didn't even know he was injured, by the way. To be honest, until this morning, I read it. I was
Yeah,
like,
neither did I.
usually it's McKenny, where like post game, we're like, oh, he picked up something. I'm like, when, why, like how? Didn't see anything. But the Cambiasso one is so strange. I mean,
I faked an injury once. I was what was it? I was 12, I think. I was a runner. It was a forest runner. I don't know. And as a kid, I was really tired of running up on a hill, and I just rolled over to the side, faking an injury. But it's a lot different levels and sports.
does anyone
Yeah, I
actually
mean-
believe he faked it? Nino, do you think he faked it? Or like
I
did
don't
he
know if-
feel something and it was like, yeah, not doing this?
I don't know if he.
But it's
I
really
mean, number-
dramatic.
Yeah, number one, he didn't start, which is already question mark number one, and number two, I don't think he faked it. I think that he did tweak it, but I think he exaggerated it a little, in my opinion, because he has one foot out the door already. Sadly, when you look at how that whole thing with him warming up, coming in the game, and you look at him coming off the bench for Lloyd Kelly, I'm very curious to see. I mean, maybe it's because he was injured, but I need to be in the Juventus training grounds to see why Lloyd Kelly is starting over Cambiasso. I need to see what miraculous practice session he's putting on.
Because Cambiasso is garbage.
Yeah, like this is. I need to see what's going on over there because the same thing with Cop Miners and Nico Gonzalez. These guys could be Cristiano Ronaldo in the practice facility, but when you put them on the field, it's not happening. So I think Cambiasso has one foot out the door. I don't think mentally he's still there for Motta. Maybe for Juventus if Motta left, but I think he's gone, and I think he doesn't want to anymore. That's my thought.
Yeah, since his injury, since he came back from that ankle injury from the ball, where the ball hit his ankle. Yeah, he's.
Yeah.
I don't mind. You're a professional
Yeah.
player, and this is what you do. Like, come on. Like, he didn't have one good game.
Yeah,
Sorry. Like,
he's thinking City already. That's somebody said that in the comments.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is. He's thinking City already. Exactly.
Yeah.
You can think that, but I mean, you're still employed by the club. City never make an offer.
Yeah.
Like, respect the fans, I guess. Like, if you don't respect Motta, at least respect the fans. Like, I don't know how to. It's a messed up situation. I'm not gonna lie. Somebody's asking why Keane. No, not Keane. Sorry, Yildiz had so many touches against Verona. Was it a new position? Was it Verona were bad? I think he was just fit. I cannot believe he didn't touch it. And maybe like the game was over, but like at 2-0, you're like, okay, I need to do like, I mean, actually, I'm
Yeah.
not gonna lie. Conceição came out. I blanked it out. I thought he was still injured. I had in my mind that he wasn't even on the bench. That's how out of touch I was with it. I'm like, he was coming on. I'm like, oh shit, he's back. Didn't do anything, but still like it's 2-0. At that point, you're like, hey, screw it. We're not doing anything. Let me just chuck in some players who have some ability, and maybe we can fluke it. Deflected shot. I don't know. Like one moment of brilliance. Like just not even desperation mode. It's like, you know what, Alberto Costa and Cambiasso, whatever. I mean, what like, I don't know. It couldn't be worse than watching Timothy Weah play. We had a good run, but yeah, I mean, that's it.
Yeah.
It's done. Like it's done. I mean, Jesus Christ, And I need to listen to people saying, "Oh, take your words back. You wanted to sell Timothy Weah." I still do. Like I still do. Why would I? Why would I keep him? Or people like, "Oh, eat your words with McKennie." I'm like, no. I praised McKennie so many times, but if an offer comes in, goodbye. Like
In a good Juventus, they should not be starters.
in a good event, nobody's in the squad. So I don't like. I've said it in the start of the show. I do not love any of these players. Like 98% shouldn't be here. I don't care if you put in a shift. If an offer comes in, it's good. I'm not gonna cry about it. Like I'm not gonna cry about any player. Like I literally, I'm at a point where I'm like, I don't care. Like I do care what's gonna happen in the summer, because I want to keep certain players, and I don't trust what Juntali is doing right now. I don't. So I need to care to that extent. But like, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, like they sold. I've seen real players leave this club. Like I've seen Chiellini walk, Marchisio walk, like Pirlo, Tevez, like those players all left the squad in the last 10 years. I'm not gonna cry if we're gonna sell McKennie or Gatti or Timothy Weah. Like I'm not gonna cry about that. Like, are you mad?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do that. The moment I'm doing that, I stop watching football or stop watching Juve. I'm done with it. Like if I need to sit at home and be mad that we're selling certain players in this squad, then I'm doing it wrong. Like
for me, the first best player that was gone was Zidane. That I clearly remember. I was sad about.
I was too young to remember.
Yeah,
but like we saw Pogba.
Yeah.
Like yes, he wanted to leave, but like he was insane. Like actually insane. And we sold him. That hurt. Even though he wanted to leave, it hurt. Tevez leaving, Pirlo leaving. Okay, retiring or whatever you want to call it. But like Vidal leaving. Like all these players left. Like those things, they did hurt. They really hurt. But for this, no.
And the problem is today, if you look at the squad today, there's no player on our squad that I would say is unsellable. Maybe Yildiz, but there's rumors of Yildiz going around saying that he's going to get sold for 90 million. Back then, you could look at a player and look at the management and be like, okay, yeah, this guy, they would never sell him. There would have to be a disconnect. And I think, granted, we made 100 million on Pogba and we got him back for free. So that was, sadly, it was a good deal. But it's just the quality is not the same. And I have to applaud the players who are willing to give their efforts. I'm not saying they're good players, but I have to applaud the players that are willing to put a lot of effort into playing another position and playing it at okay. For example, Cup Miners, I'm sorry, you gave the ability, but you sucked at every position you played. So I can't really help you there. But Weah, like I applaud him for being flexible. I'm not saying that he needs to be our starting right back, but or he needs to stay on the team, because if an offer comes for Weah, that's a good offer. Obviously, you know what I mean. And take him, you can get a better right back. But I will applaud them for for playing out of position if they play it a good job and if they just show some heart. That's all. I think that's all the fans really want from the players is heart and just go out in the field and make it seem like you're trying, because that's not what we're seeing. Even when they're playing the correct positions, it's just not. It's not the same.
I was
Yeah.
watching Atletico again twice in 4 days. Longley is playing out of his skin. Nobody wants Longley at their team, but like he's playing out of his
Longley-
skin. Like Danilo, for example, I'll bring it up again because that was one of my main issues. When it was going bad, it's all the, I don't know, like AI generated quotes, basically, you know. And
Yeah.
when it's or nothing, radio silence. But the moment we win a game, even if it's shit house, it's the you know the post, like the buzz post, buzz post. I'm like, no, I'm not buying this. Like, I'm not buying this. That's why I have issues with him, excuse me, and a lot of these players right now. I'm not buying it. Whatever you're selling me, I cannot buy it. Even if you give me if you're handing me it for free, I'm not taking it. I cannot do anything with it. So if the reports come out that we're selling a lot of these players, I'm worried about the quality coming in. That's my worry. Not you guys leaving. I'm not really worried about that because what have you done for me? If not, you've done absolutely nothing for me. Like that's just the sad reality. A lot of these players have done absolutely nothing for me or the club. You know. So if you go, you go. The issue is, well, a lot of these players I do not care about were brought in by Juventus. So imagine what the hell he's going to bring in afterwards. That's my biggest fear. That's the only worry I have in the summer. You're not buying it, but you would sell it in his position. I would sell a lot. Like, I would sell a lot.
Yeah.
I think our players have the quality, but the environment in a team like Manu, look how he's playing now, Keane. Yeah, he's playing very well, Keane. Good for him, but he stuck it out for 2 seasons. So people crying about it, like he was garbage for us. Like, good for him, but there's no sane person was saying keep Keane in the summer.
Yeah.
Like it was not happening. I never met a person saying keep Moise Keane in the summer. He's doing well, good for him, but nobody was saying keep Moise
Striker
Keane.
with 0 goals. No, thank you.
Yeah, like
I'm still a little bit sad that we got rid of Fagioli. I know that's like it depends on the person, and people will say mentally he wasn't there, but he put out the quote. I don't know if you guys saw the quote that they wanted to discuss like what was the environment, why did you leave, and he said I'd rather not talk about it because it would be disrespectful. So that for me, my ears go up, red flags everywhere. That's the second kid, because if you look at Hidjus, and he said the same thing. He said they just kind of kicked me out. You know what I mean? But and then Fagioli comes and assists 2 goals against us, and meanwhile our midfield is just, I don't know. That you're telling me that there was no space for Fagioli in that midfield? I think that's a lie.
Like the Fagioli one, like he handled it perfectly. Danilo did the flip. He did a 360. He called everybody out, you know, so you can see who actually cares
Who is
about this
Danilo?
club. Yeah. But Fagioli,
You know, like
I was sad as well for Fagioli. The video is out there. I'm like, I get why he wants out. It makes a lot of sense. I felt sorry for his, like the way it, you know, unfolded with the gambling ban. And this season, now I'm not the highest on Fagioli. I'm not gonna lie. So I'm not gonna sit here and I'm like, I think highly of him. I was never that, but I think he's a very good player. Like, period. Did he deserve more of a shot compared to others? Yeah, maybe. Not maybe. Yes. A lot of players got a lot of chances and are doing nothing with it. So 100% he deserved, you know, a shot. But I've also said if it's not working with the coach, for your own sake, for everybody's sake, you just need to leave. And it is sad because he clearly is hurt about it. Like if we let's say it's imaginary and Jundali's gone, everybody's gone, and the club, new ownership, whatever, and they're like, Fagioli, we want you back, and they're accepting 30 million. He's coming back. He's coming back. He's telling Fiorentina, thanks, but I'm gone again. Like it is that, but it is what it is right now.
Yeah, and like So when are you selling players? Like if a coach doesn't like a player, you want to just keep him because you just want to keep him, like you need to sell. And it's because of the coach. Usually the coach like certain qualities, and for me, Fajuli, we always talk about it. For us, I think can talk us like me and Ali. Miretti has a higher ceiling.
And even I think I'm not sure Moretti will succeed at this club, but that's
Yeah.
just an opinion. I can be completely wrong, but
Especially when he's 24, missing 1 year with a gambling issue. Like, come on, like I like the kid, but
yeah, it's tough. It's a tough situation, and Juventus supported him through that too. They paid him and everything, so he that's, I think, if it wasn't for the gambling situation and mentally and the coach, Juventus needs a player who is going to be loyal to them. Because if you look at the squad right now, there is not one single player on that squad that came from Juventus's youth besides Yildiz. And the media is even questioning Yildiz. So
even then, we bought Yildiz from Bayern Munich, so
exactly.
And actually,
and
the media, when you say the media is questioning, it's getting like things are getting leaked, to prep you for certain things. You need to be because he cares about the club. Like he gives interviews like he actually grew up watching the club like us on a weekly, So it is sad, and also like people talking about celebrating. I don't care if a player celebrates. Like you represent another club right now. You need to represent them. I've seen Pedri not celebrate because he played in the youth setup of Betis. I'm like, man, come on, like do not do that. Like nobody, not even Betis fans knew you were doing that. You were playing for them in the youth setup. Like let's be like, so if Fajoli or Keane celebrated, I wouldn't be angry. I'm like, you play for a new club, you should be representing those clubs. So I'm not one of those, to be honest. If you disrespect the club, then I'm like, okay, maybe not needed, But celebrating, I'm like, I'm cool with it, to be honest. You play for a new club. Like Higuain couldn't wait to celebrate with Milan, and I still love Higuain. I'm like, you play for Milan, you need to represent and respect that club right now. They're paying you, not we. It is what it is, But what about we will wrap this up in a minute, by the way, people. Somebody's saying we all have Yildiz is the first full season as a pro. What about we getting back Miretti? I thought we should have kept him. No, we should. Like I said at the summer, loan him out. I was a bit fearful to loan him out to Genoa, but Vieira saved the day. I think he's playing very well. Like, even when he's not getting the goals and assists, he's playing very well. So good for him. I'm not sure if he's coming back next season. I'm actually kind of convinced he's not coming back, to be honest. That's just my opinion. I read the Saudis want to buy the club. What do you think? I think the media is exploiting the situation. There's nothing.
I think that's the old news resurfacing now
as well. Keane was thrown out of the club. Why not celebrate? It's not like he left on good terms. Yeah, like I said, like if he celebrates, I'm cool with it. And he should have left the club. Like he was bad for us. So, and he's doing good now. So I'm happy for him. That's good. Like sometimes it doesn't work. Like Thierry Henry, it didn't really work out for us. Look what it did, for him at Arsenal. It's cool. Like it's part of the game at times, But yeah, we're gonna wrap this one up, people. It's been depressing enough, I think. I was hoping for better times, but ever since I started the channel, it's actually getting worse.
Yeah,
it's actually getting worse. I couldn't believe it. I never thought it was possible, but it's getting worse. Unbelievable. But yeah, 2-week break now. Cannot believe I'm gonna say that. I love the international break. I love it. Like 2 weeks of absolutely watching no football. Not a single minute. I'm not watching international football. I'm not gonna do it.
Watch Hungary, Turkey, Hungary.
Yeah.
Gotta watch Italy too.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do it. Like I'm absolutely not gonna do it. I want 2 weeks away from football. Like I'm done with it. And then it's. Do we play Genoa on a Sunday? Probably. Oh no, we play on Saturday at 6 o'clock. Oh, another shitty hour.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so almost 2 weeks off because we're back on Saturday against Genoa. But yeah, until then, prep you for some very, very weird news reports in the next 7-8 days. It's gonna get weird in the media, so that's always fun, I guess. Let's see who's gambling now. We're taping doping right now. I don't know. That's usually the stuff that comes out during the break. But yeah, Norbert,
Yeah.
Nino, thanks for sharing the pain. Sharing the pain. Somebody saying good. We
course.
can watch Formula One. No, absolutely not. That doesn't make it better. Depending. It depends.
It depending, yeah. Us Ferrari fans not loving these
No,
weeks.
it's actually making it worse. But actually
Worse.
also because it's owned by this. Whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, people, that's it. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. I will be back live. What is it? It's Monday right now. So probably Wednesday. Friday, I think for sure, but Wednesday maybe as well. So yeah, that's it. Have a good evening and stay safe.